Alright, so if this is your first time at my videos, we took 7th place last time. We're having a discussion right now about why I'm ashamed of America. And specifically now, the conversation I started up at the end of the last one was that slavery is not gone. It's just changed. Put on a different mask. And by that I mean, right now, Americans are having to fight, working all the time to get nowhere. We finally get to play as Mr. Biggersworth. We're taking it. And what I mean by this is like, and this is also something that's going to get taken wrong, but the worst thing that we did was approve the Women's Right Act of making it to where they're treated equally so that they can have equal wages and everything, and that they can work at the same time as a man. The reason why I say that isn't because I think that women don't have the right to do
Hey,
it,
my favorite commander
but
is
because
back.
of the fact
Ready to
that
get started?
because we gave that right, the government took advantage of that. And what that is the cost of living used to be the idea of there's one person in a household who has to be able to bring home the income for the entire household. Has to be able to pay for the house, pay for taxes, pay for the land, pay for a car, maybe two, and pay for kids to go to school, pay for them to have health care, everything. Like all this was supposed to be put on one person's shoulders, and they had to manage
Have a
this.
good battle, friend.
And then the other person's job was to maintain the house and make sure they were healthy and strong to continue to do this. Literally was the mainstay for the longest time. So the cost of living could not exceed what is capable for one person to do this. But because we passed that act, now we
I've
have
got some fresh recruits for you.
that there is. We gotta upgrade. We have the problem of now the household can have two people working, which means we just doubled that. But it's not fair to double that because pay didn't double. And then on top of that, the cost of everything, as far as the rent, doubled. Hell, it quadrupled. Lights went up. Water
Keep up the
goes up.
momentum,
Everything
friend.
went up. The rate of pay did, and it shouldn't have. Nowadays, and this is where the slavery thing comes in, is that essentially you are not really free. You are working your entire life just to survive,
Any
which
defeat
is
that doesn't
exactly
destroy
what
you
slavery
makes you
was in the
stronger.
first place. You had to work to live. If you did not work, then you was going to get punished severely or killed because you was not worth anything or sold off. Your life was not your own. Essentially, your life was not in your hands. Well, your life is not in your hands right now because if you want to leave the country, you have to pay the country to leave. Then you have to pay the other country to let you live over there. And then you're going to be in the same trap wherever you go, anyways. And as
You're
long as you
doing
live
great
here,
out there.
you're not going to really accomplish anything either. Almost everything has already been created. What hasn't been created isn't really going to get you out of anything. People invent things all the time. But because of the way lawsuits and stuff have been set up, it doesn't matter how much money you make. Eventually, you're going to lose it all. But if you're not doing something like
Welcome
that,
back. How's it
the
going out
country's
there?
imploding in on itself because there's too many people who aren't working, who are trying to find ways out of work. Yeah, those dragons fixed. But they're too busy trying to get out of work at the end of the day, and it's because nobody wants to have to work 40 plus hours a week and still have nothing. You can have a husband or a wife, depending on whichever one you are, or even if you're a man or a woman and you're with the same sex. Either way, husband or a wife, living in a household, and you still are living, you're working 40 plus hours just to stay broke, just to be considered lower middle class. Like
I think you
nobody's
can win
actually
this thing.
rich anymore. Even the rich people are either rich or else you're lower middle class to poor. Like, literally, if you are middle class, it's because you're on your way to being rich or you're on your way to being poor. Either way, it's still a trap. Like, there is no financial stability anywhere at the end of the day. That's the big thing that's been going on around here in the first place. Why there's so much depression and why there's so many people wanting to pick fights and everything like that. It's because as much money as you make, you can't do nothing with it. You can't go nowhere with it. Your whole life is wrapped around what you make, and what you make is literally what you need. You can't take time off. So you work every single day to live. And by extension, you live to work. Your entire life is your job. If you don't believe me, then let's recap how many hours a day you work. And this is based off the idea that you're not living illegally or taking advantage of situations. If you're an actual working American right now, you are waking up at whatever time you have to wake up at. And this is assuming you don't have kids. Let's just do without the kids right now. You wake up, you prepare yourself for work. This could take anywhere from 5 minutes to an hour, minimum. Anywhere
I
in there.
think you can win this thing.
You might not even have time to eat breakfast, depending on how much time you have here. But this is all your prep time. This is just to start your day. You get up, you get in your vehicle, or you get on your bus, or you get on your train. You go to where you're going. Call your Uber, whatever. Get to where you gotta go, and you sit there for not 8 hours a day, but a minimum of 9 hours is in this workplace. Then, more times than not, if you work a schedule like I used to work, you are literally spending another hour to two trying to get home through all the traffic. Then you're dealing with, after the traffic, you are dealing with the fact of you get home, you scramble to take care of everything you have to take care of. Clean up, take out trash, start dinner, clean your clothes. If you're one of those people who has that you wear the same uniform every day, you're washing your uniform and getting ready for the next day. You're trying to get in contact with everybody that you have to get in contact with that you
I
couldn't get
like
in
how
contact
you're
with
handling
before.
this one.
If you have pets, you're taking care of your pets. Like, basically, your chores have started, which is another hour of your day. Now you can eat. You sit down to have your meal. More times than not, Americans tend to watch TV when they're eating now because you have to do two things at the same time. Otherwise, you don't have time for either. So you eat and you watch TV. So that's about an hour right there of your day.
Keep up the momentum, friend.
Doing the math at this point, it's time for bed. You can't go directly to bed if you're trying to stay healthy, but not too many people can actually stick to that, so more than likely you're going to bed right after. And then you have to do it all over again the next day. You don't have time for a life. You don't have time for anything else. So now you add kids or a spouse to the equation. You have to subtract that from somewhere. So, what are you subtracting from? Are you subtracting from sleep? Are you subtracting from your eating time? Like, where is it going to go from? It has to come from somewhere.
It's not the strongest, but it'll fight hard.
That's where this whole problem is right now, is that it's literally you're a slave. You just don't know it. Because they've hid it so well from you. I want this, but at the same time, I don't want to save it. So we're not going to. If I have to question it, we don't keep it. Oh, well, that we will. Although we're probably going to be eliminated.
I'll make sure
Probably about to
these
be
ones
eliminated,
stick
but-
around for next time.
As a matter of fact, sell that. Put another bomb in here. Oh man, this isn't looking good for us. I mean, I don't listen to my calculations. You do your own calculations. I just know that in my calculations, I had 4 hours a day to myself. That was mine. The rest of it was either feeding my body so that I wouldn't like start decreasing blood sugar or falling out at work because I almost
Keep
fell
up
out
the
at work a
momentum,
couple of
friend.
times, whether it was dehydration or low blood sugar. For whatever reason, I was drained and was passing out at work. And so you have to eat and drink to keep yourself up. I was doing that, and it wasn't enough. I wasn't getting enough of it still. Well, you have to take it from somewhere. That's the whole problem here. Is that there's just not enough time in the day to get it. So I came down to 4 hours a day. That was mine. And I'm a gamer. As you see, I'm playing this game right now, which meant I had 2 to 3 hours depending on if I sacrificed everything else just to play the game, which I tended to do.
For a little while, I pack a big punch.
I don't like either of these choices. I'll take this. I could put taunt on these two things. Ooh, he's not golden yet, so actually that would be good.
Bring the
He's
fight
here.
to me!
It's not gonna do me no good to sell it yet. About to be fighting demons. Blarg. No. I don't know what to do, guys. Tell me what to do. Wait, I can't hear you anyways. Please. We're gonna lose. We're Mr. Bigglesworth, and we don't get to outlive anybody, so we don't get to get a free card. Sucks. What can you do?
I think you can
That
win
might be why
this
I'm such a
thing.
negative person, because I've had time to weigh this out. And I come to the conclusion, like, honestly, it would fix so much stuff. Like, there's so many people that say, oh, well, America's lazy. Yeah, we have. But what the problem is that it's not just a matter of being lazy. It's a matter of we're overworked and nothing to show for it. And we're not a country that's like, oh, well, we should just be grateful that we have the opportunity to work for nothing. Like, literally, you live in a country where we constantly get screwed over. Where you go to work and you might be the best employee at the store. It doesn't matter that you're the best employee. It's not the matter that you put in the most effort and that you get the best numbers and that you put in the most time and effort. That doesn't matter. What matters is how big you talk. I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys know right now. If you do not sell yourself to your managers, they're not gonna pay you no attention. They're never gonna just notice how good you are at your job and appreciate you and pay you more because they don't want to pay you more. No business wants to pay more. They want to cut corners. They pay to the louder complainer because they don't want to have to pay to train somebody else. That's the problem. And that's the ultimate truth. There's been so many jobs that have gone in there, and there's so many people that do not know what they're doing. People that are complete idiots get promoted over you. And it's like, well, what is it they did? Well, they spend the entire day complaining about how they do so much and nobody else does anything. And you're like, really? I'm literally doing everything while you're complaining. What do you get? Because you're not speaking up and complaining to your manager on a regular basis, you're not getting promoted. You complain too much, they just fire you because they don't want to have to listen to your mouth. But if you're just sitting in there praising yourself, every time they're around there, you're just sitting over there, popping your collar, talking about how great you are. That way they can want to promote you because, oh, you must be really good because they're not paying attention. They're just, oh, well, he says he's the best, so he's the best. Like, it's because they don't care. Ultimately, nobody cares. There's no pride in the work. This needs to stop. That's one of those things that needs to stop too. Like, you don't need to. People need to start taking a little bit of pride in their own work too, and promoting people based off of if they're good, not just how many years they put in, or because they played golf with you on the golf course. It needs to be you come in there. This person is tearing up the floor in a good way. They're stocking everything the way they need to be stocking it. They're here at the time they need to be there. They're doing everything that they need to be doing. They can't get promoted though, because you want to keep them forever. And if you give them too many pay raises, then you have to find an excuse to get rid of them. That's stupid. That is the person you need to promote because they need to be training everybody else how to do it like them. It's not supposed to be you hire somebody so that they can just sit in an office all day and then get complained to at the end of the day because they didn't do nothing and then just approve time off. They should be the person overseeing and teaching how to do it like they did it. So if you promote somebody that doesn't know how to do the job properly because of ethnic background or because of a gender or because they're your best friends or because they play golf with you on Sundays, then you're getting somebody that doesn't know how to do their job and they're supposed to be training others to do it. So they don't know if the job's getting done right or not. What's the point? Well, they've been here for 3 years. Okay, but do they do the job right? No. So they've been failing at their job for 3 years, and not only did you not fire them, but you promoted them. Dum dum. Small brain. Ultimately. And it's that there's so much stuff that's just wrong with the situation, but it's like Americans need to start thinking more. Like we should not be having a race war again. This is stupid. This is something that was done so far back I don't even remember the number because it doesn't matter. I didn't fight in it. You didn't fight in it. Why are we fighting again? Be done with it. It's in the past. It's over. We're a mixed country. It needs to stay a mixed country. Oh, and I want to go ahead and like nib this in the bud too. Anybody that's gonna come up here and put in the comments or just in my face and say, "Well, really, it's Native Americans' country and we should give it back to them." No, you're dumb. We took the country fair and square. It is our country. There is no country right now that I can come up with, anyways, that is not built on the bones of another civilization that has been buried in time. Period. If we didn't take it from the Native Americans, somebody else would have. We was not just a ruthless bunch who just showed up and decided we're not going to be friends with anybody. We're going to kill whatever's here and take it for ourselves. That's not what happened. All right. It started out what was going to be peace. Wars broke out left and right over different situations. Both sides had wrongs and goods. But it's only been painted in history as they were wrong. Period. Just like the idea of the war for the North and the South has been painted based off of who won. Victor gets to write history. That's what I'm going to carry on in the next conversation that we start. So I'll see you guys in the next one and get ready for a rough one. Peace.